Last part, we resurrected a former Klingon Chancellor after retrieving her soul from Grethor and striking a bargain with the Klingon devil Feklar himself. Alternatively, we breathed in some bad smoke and tripped balls for an hour while the L'Rell clone stabilised and woke up by herself. I don't know. But now we are working alongside a Klingon who was resurrected by the monks of Borath in the same fashion as Kalis was, with a similar goal in mind: unify and repair the damage done to the Empire and bring the houses together. That has not been the only thing that has been repaired, however. The USS Shaman is a fine ship, a bit of a glass cannon with how I've spec'd her out, but I need to get back to the San Francisco Fleet Yards to pick up the overhauled USS Armiger NCC 97003, which now incorporates the advancements made to the Odyssey class from the Yorktown subclass. This is one of several overhauls that the Odyssey class received in the early 2410s based on improvements to the baseline Odyssey. This is akin to one of the refits the Constitution or Excelsior received, and most new Odyssey classes going forwards align with one of these new variants. The namesake for this subclass comes from the USS Yorktown NCC 1717, which was eventually the flagship of our captain from 2270, Admiral Isaac Garrett. The name crops up again throughout Federation histories until the most recent in 2410, the Odyssey Class 1. While the USS Odyssey, NX 97000, was rechristened the Enterprise, one of the following of its line was the Yorktown, maintaining the old tradition of keeping these two vessels as sister ships. The vessel was overhauled to be the first Yorktown subclass when the Vardois began to present themselves as a menace just before the Iconian War erupted, but it suffered extensive damage during the Battle of Earth during that climactic war. It, alongside the similarly damaged USS Enterprise, were overhauled further, producing this subclass as it exists now. The other three subclasses are the Endeavour, which was more heavily armed variety, the Sojourner, with a greater focus on resiliency and operational effectiveness, and the Verity, which is a newer subclass than the others based on first-hand feedback from the existing Odyssey subclass vessels. Each of these subclasses is named after an Odyssey class, presumably the vessel that first underwent its specific overhaul. There is also a Lexington variety, but that doesn't exist yet. The Yorktown, meanwhile, has more efficient impulse and warp potential, which is why even the cells now have these little fins on them. Yeah, it's to do with something subspace drag. I don't care, they look cool. That all said and done, we board our new old friend to see what she has for us and set off to rendezvous with L'Rell.
The time has come. Join us in the Borath system. We are preparing to make our next move against the forces of the so-called Emperor and his dishonorable lackeys. Soon we will rally those who would end this destructive conflict and restore the Empire. The journey lies ahead. All that remains is to take the first step.
This is a mission of firsts. Not only are we on the bridge of a freshly overhauled ship, but L'Rell herself remains new to this century and untested. Sure, she resembles the L'Rell of the past, and potentially we have returned her soul, depending on how you interpret those missions, but the Kalis clone was but a shadow of the legendary figure in certain aspects, such as his experiences. We need to know that this Klingon matriarch is capable, if she is to serve as a sign for the disparate houses once more. She corralled the houses into line once before, how will she go about doing so again? We arrive at Borath unimpeded and beam aboard the Katinga to meet with L'Rell and the fellow Klingons. Martok is present, as is Adet Pa, and of course Ch'ula, who has now been made the captain of this vessel, another symbolic gesture. Funnily enough, this is probably the first mission in this line where not being a Klingon character makes more sense.
Ah, you have arrived. Good. Perhaps you can succeed where I have not.
Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence, General. What's the issue? I don't hear much planning.
The problem is that we cannot decide on our next move. Getting a spy, a warrior, a politician, and a general to agree on anything is a difficult challenge. When all those people are Klingons, it becomes a challenge worthy of Kalis himself.
So, considering we lack that particular resurrected Klingon of legend at the moment, what would you have me do? Want me to employ that stereotypical Federation mediation?
Speak with the others. See what they have in mind. Your fresh perspective may find a path forward, if such a thing exists.
Will do, General, although in my capacity as a representative here I can only advise you. So, we set about listening to the variety of plans being formulated here, and as we are on her ship, it is only right we begin with its captain, Ja'ula.
My mind often returns to the disaster at Kuvat. Though it was Akar who gave the order to fire on the planet, it happened on my ship. I want to remove the dishonor of that treacherous attack on the world of my mother's birth.
But I guess the rift over Andoria was fine. Well, you know what? It's the beginnings of a guilty conscience, so I'll take it. What would you do with this, then?
There are reports of new mycelial rifts opening in the Kuvat system. Corrupted Alachi have launched several attacks in retaliation for previous attacks of aggression against them. It seems another one of my sins has returned to haunt me. I would go to Kuvat and aid their forces against the Alachi.
There are many among the Klingon houses who still mistrust Ja'ula and see her as a troublemaker. Even if her goal was to strengthen the Empire, many did not ask for her intervention, so maybe simply returning to just helping out might begin to mend some of those opinions. So she may yet do some good, but any that she does do will be viewed as addressing the balance, but it would still be appreciated. We move to talk to Laurel next, the enigma of the group. She is also a very tall lady. Like, wow. Let's see what she considers the most important as a first step.
The others believe we should curry favor with the strongest houses that stand against Jimpok. It is not a position I agree with.
Why not? Seeking out capable allies with a shared goal seems like the most obvious and quickest first step.
The strong houses will resent any aid from us. They will take it as an offense, a question of their honor and their prowess as warriors. Smaller houses in need will be more pragmatic. They will accept our aid and become loyal allies when called upon.
That is actually a very good point, the whole Klingon honor angle. I did not consider that.
I believe we should prove our strength by helping those who need it most. In doing so, we will earn respect from the stronger houses, rather than resentment.
Regardless of Laurel's former status, her first act can't be to appear to be trying to work with those great houses that already have power, as she would be seen as attempting to just cozy up to the already powerful, while uniting the smaller houses paints her in a better light already and puts her on equal footing as a leader.
I have received word that systems controlled by House Korath are being attacked by forces loyal to Jimpok. They are being punished for their refusal to bend the knee.
House Korath is hardly alone in that. The majority of Klingons have given up on Jimpok, even if they don't actively fight him. House Korath was a rising house with a decent grasp of the sciences, from what I remember.
Our intel suggests that Akar's virus has been used to render their starships defenseless in several battles. I believe we can forge an alliance with them by providing the countermeasures to the virus. This will give their forces a chance to fight as warriors rather than die without honor in the cold darkness of space.
That would certainly allow them to level the playing field. I can't see a downside to that, unless House Korath takes it as a sign of pity on our part, as an insult, like Laurel suggested. I can see why we're at a bit of an impasse here. The ideas are actually all pretty reasonable ones. Laurel, however, is less of a plan and more formulating an overall goal. Adetpar and Ja'ula would just have us act now, not considering the greater objective.
You see, I think that's why we have yet to agree on a plan. Each of us has a bold, challenging goal in mind.
Yeah, and I think I can see a tactic forming here. But just out of interest, General, what was your plan?
I proposed that we go to Kronos and put a batleth into Jimpok's skull. After issuing a formal challenge for the right to lead, of course. As glorious as that would be, it was decided the level of security surrounding the Emperor would be more than even we could handle. That, and the matter of his dishonorable solution to the last fight we had over the Chancellor's seat. Ah!
Indeed, Jimbok has most likely holed up. He even dissolved the High Council, so the only people around him now are yes-men. So, who's to say he'd even respect Klingon law now that he's appointed himself Emperor? I imagine his version of Klingon law is now just a whatever I say goes. But of all the plans we've heard so far, L'Rell's should come first, because it provides an overall goal.
Indeed. I would hear your reasoning for this decision.
Wow, you have really good hearing. I guess that's because technically your eardrums are, like 2 days old? They haven't had explosions going off after... You know what, never mind. So my reasoning is basically that House Korath is an up-and-coming great house, and based on what you said, helping them out directly would just insult them.
That may be true, but what of Kuvat? Do we abandon the people there to the Alachi?
Well, no, but they might have to hold on for a little while longer, at least until we have assembled a big enough force to actually turn the tide against the Alachi. There's a lot of them, but the rifts act like choke points.
Yes. A warrior who enters a battle unprepared is a warrior destined to fail. You are correct. With more forces at our side, we will be able to face the Alachi and aid the people of Kuvat.
Exactly. So, in order to bolster our forces for that, we need an appropriate ally from a small but respected house, and we'll have to be quick about it so we can respond to these other threats.
I do not disagree. And I believe I know the perfect candidate for this operation. House Kang.
House Kang, as in Kang. God, even I know that name from 2370.
After the death of the Master Kang, the house lost a great deal of influence. It has been in a slow but steady state of decline ever since. They have been seeking a way to restore glory to their house for some time now. Their most recent attempt ended poorly.
Most recent attempts? Go on.
When Jimbok declared himself emperor, House Kang was preparing to stage a coup. Unfortunately, spies discovered their plan and informed Jimbok. Imperial security captured most of the leadership of House Kang, and they are on their way to Rura Pente as we speak.
Jimbok threw me into a prison once. He wanted me to suffer and die without honor. I will not let that happen to the warriors of House Kang.
Ah, okay then. You thinking what I'm thinking, General? Sounds like you have a plan.
I do. I think we should raid that system and liberate the House Kang warriors being held there.
Jailbreak! And it's unexpected this might work.
I will lead our ground forces on these raids. I knew Dahar Master Kang, and I know many of the current leaders of his house. They will be quicker to trust a familiar face.
Even one like yours? I shouldn't have insulted the General.
While we conduct the raids, I want the crews of the Core and Rotaran to seek more allies and conduct reconnaissance. We must be prepared for future battles after this one. Now, let us show the Great Houses our strength. Kapla!
Yes, crab plant. Now, if you excuse me, I need to get back to my ship to help prepare. We'll follow the Katinga to Rura Pente and are participating in this rescue mission. The Katinga held up well against the Fekhiri, but we'll see how it holds up against the forces of Rura Pente in its first major operation. Not to mention our fresh upgrades.
They're holding General Kanal of House Kang on one of these prison stations, along with many of his loyal warriors. The stations are rigged with sensor jammers, so we'll have to find Kanal and his forces the hard way.
We'll stay on Overwatch. Martok?
I'll be leading the boarding parties to search for Kanal, starting with Station Alpha. We'll beam over from your ship once you've disabled the station's defenses. Ah, and then things will get interesting. I do not expect the prison guards to give up their prize easily.
I feel like you're going to enjoy this. Well, all hands to battle stations, I guess. So, around Rura Pente are several processing facilities that are guarded by a small fleet of loyal Imperial vessels. Our job is to dispose of them, break down the station's defensives, and then beam over Martok's team and bring them back with Kanal. We save House Kang from a dishonourable death on the planet's surface, one unjustified in the eyes of those who do not support Jimbok, and then we hopefully have a loyal and allied house. It really doesn't take us long to outclass the defensive ships. It appears they are older Klingon vessels from a pre-Iconian War design phase, and soon we're free to target the station. However, as the adage goes, no plan survives first contact with the enemy.
Station Alpha is disabled.
With its shields down, we beam over Martok's team.
Boarding party transport complete. We are engaging the enemy.
Incoming fleet on centers. Prepare for combat!
The station must have sent out a mayday. While we fend off these new arrivals and give Martok time to find the leader of House Kang, let's look at who they were. They were prominent in the 23rd century, thanks mostly to their successful leader and diplomats who built alliances with Koloth and Kor. Kang's prestige would grow until he reached the rank of Dahar Master before he was ultimately slain in combats with the Albino in 2370. While this death was honourable and even earned him a place in the Hall of Heroes, there is a lesson to be learned here. Many Klingon houses can rise high on the achievements of just one, but when that one is gone, well, the rest of the house may struggle to hold on to its glory if it has not spread the weight, as it were. House Kang is the perfect example. The eponymous Kang was so highly praised that once he was out of the picture, what did they have left? Well, their honour, and sure, while Klingons will say that is enough, well, they have been buried under the ever-changing stream of houses vying for power. After we drive off the reinforcements, which I believe are Nausicaan raiders, Martok contacts us.
This is Martok. We've completed our search of the station, but Kanal was nowhere to be found. We did find some of his troops, though. Several of them told me that Kanal was taken to Station Gamma for interrogation.
Okay, slight hitch, but our presence has been noted and we'll have to move quickly.
Indeed. We have some new allies to join in the fight. Kanal's warriors are eager to help us, and I'm inclined to let them.
Well, you know what? It sounds like they're wrongfully imprisoned, so bring them along.
Good. We're ready for the next jailbreak. Come and get us.
Already on it, General. Prepare for transport.
They'll be waiting for us on Station Gamma. Let's not disappoint them.
A leader who thinks of those who serve, as well as the Empire. Warriors follow them proudly.
Was that a compliment, Laurel, or just an observation? Either way, there was a reason Martok made Chancellor, and it's a good lesson to keep to heart. As before, we make quick work of the local defence fleet before attacking the station itself and lowering its shields.
Station Gamma is disabled.
We beam over Martok to await him, but then there's a painful minute before he responds.
This is Martok. Resistance is stronger than anticipated. We need reinforcements immediately.
Understood, General. Prepare security teams 3 and 4 for transport.
I'm picking up incoming warp signatures. Enemy forces are inbound to our position.
Damn it, General, we're going to have company up here. We'll try and get our reinforcements to you when we can.
Here they come. Looks like a Nausicaan mercenary fleet.
Okay, we can't beam through shields, so we're going to have to wait for an opening to get our security team to Martok. Just like that. Okay, that was... They should have really come out and warp a lot closer to us. That was a bit anticlimactic and has made me look a little silly. These are indeed Nausicaan vessels. It seems that the Empire, which has long considered Nausicaa as an allied power since 2389, continues to uphold its agreements, although Jimpok's reliance on these ships for battle shows how diluted his KDF has become.
The station is secure, but Kanal is not here. In fact, no one from House Kang is here. Mostly dregs bound for a dishonorable death on that ice ball down there.
Is there anything that hints of Kanal's whereabouts? We really can't stay too long.
Possibly. I found an old friend of ours locked up over here. That annoying Ferengi who sold us out to Jim Puck back on Nimbus 3. He says he has information, but he'll only speak to you about it.
Margarine. Fine, General, put him on.
We meet again, Nemesis.
I don't...
After an unfortunate misunderstanding between myself and the Klingons, I find myself bound for the frozen depths of Rura Penthe.
So sad.
They didn't even give me a trial.
Oh no.
But my fortunes could be about to change. I know where your famous general is.
Okay, let's just say I believe you and you're not lying to save your skin. What would you want for this information, Margarine?
Since we lack the time for a proper series of negotiations, I'll make it simple for you. Get me out of here, alive, and I will tell you where he is. Leave me here to my cruel, frozen fate, and you'll never find him.
Tell you what, you're here without trial, which by Klingon law you were supposed to get, so I'll get you out of here for now so that you can face trial properly. Final offer.
But you... We have a deal. Even a prison cell on Kronos is better than that frozen nightmare below. I'd be standing before the blessed exchequer within a week. My ledgers are not ready for the final audit.
Meaning you're broke, so I guess you lost Shangdu too. Anyway, where is he, Margarine?
One of the prisoners here put a shiv in his back to score points. He should be dead, but the word is Emperor Jempak made it clear he was not to die a warrior's death. Unfortunately, the surgeon here is an incompetent drunk, so they took Kanal to Beta Station for medical treatment over there. Check the sickbay logs under snacks and libations if you don't believe me.
General Martok, can you confirm Margarine's claims?
It appears the little Capect is telling the truth. Pity. I was looking forward to dangling him by his ears from an airlock until he talked.
General.
Very well. I'll bring him along and throw him by the ears into your brig. Enough of this! We're ready to beam out when you are.
Please don't manhandle the prisoners, even Margarine. Okay, security teams, meet him in transporter room 4.
Quickly! Kanal has survived one attack. He may not survive another.
Beta Station is further from Repente than the others, but we deal with its defences all the same.
Enemy vessel decloaking. It's a dreadnought!
Despite its imposing bulk, the IKS Mulga isn't that hard to deal with. It's a rather slow vessel, and we can use that to hit it from afar.
They're done. Station Beta is disabled. Boarding parties, stand by for transport.
Once more, we send over Martok and his team, and there is a long delay before he is able to respond.
That dreadnought's arrival worked in our favor. The guards were distracted by your glorious battle, and Kanal used the opportunity to stage a riot. By the time we got here, most of the fighting was over.
You sound almost disappointed, General. Don't worry, there's more fighting ahead.
Indeed. Kanal is still in one piece, and we're all ready to leave this place.
Good to hear. We need to get out of here. Everyone, prepare for transport.
Lady Joula and Laurel, you honor us, Mother. House Kang will not forget your actions today.
The honour is ours, General Kanal. We need you and your house to help restore stability to the Empire to bring down Jimpok's reign.
Well said. Jempok sending my troops and I to die in prison is cause enough for us to rally to your banner. But no Klingon would turn their backs on a campaign to save our glorious empire. Give the call to arms, and House Kang will answer.
Come on, General. You will not have to wait long to heed such a call to glory.
General Canal, we'll be in touch and probably soon.
We are receiving an incoming transmission from a dead Pa.
House Korath is under attack once more. This time in the Forcas system. A number of their ships have been disabled by Akar's virus and left to die in the void. He is sending a message. Stand against the Emperor and face a dishonorable death.
Not just defeating his foes, but he's trying to humiliate them.
Indeed. But this is a game we can win. If we move quickly, we can reach Forcas before those vessels break down and explode. We can give them the countermeasures they need to survive.
You think they'll take it without insult? What's the call here?
I will not stand by and do nothing when we have the means to save those warriors. A dead Pa, we will meet you in the Forcas system. Be prepared to render assistance to the Korath vessels.
Well then, I guess that's that. Let's just go be heroes. Well, Phase 1 is down, but now we need to adapt our schemes to liberate House Korath, which we'll get onto next part. Thanks for watching this part of the Star Trek Online Stories series, as we continue to explore the closing narrative of Star Trek Online. I've been Rick, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching, and goodbye.